Hey, Elim Crawley, it's great to be with you today and have the opportunity just to share a few thoughts about being empowered for witness. For those of you who don't know, my name is Iain and I'm the International Missions Director for Elim UK. And I love the fact that you're beginning this year in prayer and you've got 3 days just dedicated to prayer. And today is this theme of being empowered for witness. I think this is crucial for us to grapple with, is that we aren't just empowered for our own sake. We aren't empowered just so that we might know a greater security of salvation. We aren't just empowered by the Spirit for good works in the church. We're empowered for witness. We're empowered to be sent out and to be compelled out and propelled out into mission into the world, wherever we might find ourselves. Now, for most of you, if not all of you, that'll be in your local environments, whether it's the schools that you work in, the offices, into the city, wherever it is that you find yourself. You are a sent one. You are somebody, if you're a follower of Jesus and he's called you, you know his hand upon you, you've been born again of the Spirit, you've been filled with the Spirit. You are a sent one. You are an ambassador of Christ, called to represent King Jesus in every space, in every place that you find yourself. It's living out that life of the kingdom. Now, the thing about being a witness is that we can only bear witness to what we know to be true. We can't bear witness to what we've heard secondhand. We can't bear witness to something that we think might be true. We can't bear witness to something we think just is a nice story or a nice idea. No, we are a witness to what we know to be true. So if you know to be true that the resurrected Christ is at work in you and his life is transforming yours, you've experienced his power, and you can know that actually the empowering of the Spirit is available for you today in order that you and I might be witnesses to the resurrection power of Jesus at work in us and through us. See, it's not just about an individual thing either. This is about a community being empowered for witness. So imagine that your community, however many number in Elim Crawley, collectively can bear witness to the resurrection power of Jesus. Imagine that you are sent out into every single space of society, whether it's the schools that you're working in, the offices, in local government, or in finance, or wherever it is you might be, or in the hospitals, in the surgeries, in the community centres, wherever you find yourself. The promise for you and for me is that the Spirit is available to empower us for witness. Now, my prayer for you, I think the invitation for you today, and for me today, is that we would know a fresh power of the Spirit, an infilling of the Spirit, a freshness of God upon us, empowering us to do the things that he's called us to do. And so what does that look like for you where you are? One of the things that stands out for me is that as you read through the book of Acts, now you see the promise and the command of Jesus actually in Acts chapter 1 verse 8, where it says, "Go to Jerusalem, stay there for a little while. You'll receive power, and you'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the ends of the earth." So Acts chapter 1, that's the promise. Acts chapter 2 comes, the Spirit falls, they're filled afresh, they speak in tongues, speak in new languages, and people hear it. And you see that right from the off, the mission of God is being worked out as they're filled with the Spirit. Nations people from different places hearing good news in their own language. And at that day, 3,000 people are added. You get into chapter 4, and there's been some tension, there's been some difficulty. Peter and John have been arrested before the religious leaders, and they celebrate, and they say, wow, we've been counted worthy to suffer in such a way. And then they say, let's pray for boldness. So the thing is, we need the Spirit to do the things that Jesus called us to do, and we need boldness of the Spirit to proclaim the good news, because in and of our own strength and power, we don't have the words or the resources or the ability to do this. But the promise is that Jesus will send his Spirit to empower us to do the things that he's called us to do. He's deposited everything that we need for a life of godliness, and in it, by his Spirit, he will empower us and has empowered us to do the things that he's called us to do, the very things that Jesus did. And so today, as you seek God for a fresh infilling, may you know his power and his presence at work in you and through you for the glory of his name. God bless.